All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're not building a schedule. We're going to do something way more important. We're going to conduct a forensic analysis of a project's finish line. The whole point here is to validate the plan, to cut through all the noise and find cold, hard evidence inside Primavera P6 that tells us if a project's endgame is for real or just a fantasy.
You've all seen it, right? It's the classic project nightmare. Everything's going great, progress is humming along, and then bam, it hits a brick wall at 95% complete, and that last 5% takes forever. So why does this happen over and over again? Well, it's because the clues to failure were hiding in plain sight the whole time, right inside the schedule.
And here it is, Exhibit A, our crime scene. Now on the surface, this schedule looks perfectly fine. You've got this one little bar for commissioning and handover, and look at all that green. That's a ton of float. It's not on the critical path, so nobody's losing sleep over it. But this, my friends, is a total deception. It's a cosmetic finish, and it's designed to make you feel safe when you should be worried.
So, our first job is to expose this thing for what it is. We're going to hunt for the red flags, the specific, telltale flaws that scream a plan is built on hope, not on logic. Let's meet the usual suspects.
And here they are. Whenever you're trying to validate a schedule's endgame, these are the culprits you're looking for. You got activities just floating around with no links. You see inspections shown as zero-day milestones, which is just ridiculous. And the biggest red flag of all? This single lazy bar for a massively complex process like commissioning. Every single one of these is just an open door for delays to walk right in. And this slide just illustrates the point perfectly. Take a look. The inspection is a milestone, that little diamond shape. That means it has 0 duration. Now you tell me, what real-world inspection takes 0 time? Exactly. And check out the commissioning activity. It's an island. There's no logic connecting it back to the permanent power or the water utilities that it absolutely needs to even start. This isn't a plan. It's a placeholder. It's wishful thinking.
Okay, so we've identified the problem. Now what? Now we get to the solution, building an evidential finish plan. What does that mean? It means we stop hoping and we start using logic. We create a sequence that actually mirrors how work gets done in the real world.
Here's the key takeaway. Commissioning is not one activity. It's not. It is a multi-stage process. First, you have your pre-commissioning checks. Then you have the actual system testing. That's followed by the official inspection from the authorities. And this next part is so important. You have to plan for failure. You need a step for rectification and reinspection before you ever get to that final handover. If these steps aren't in your schedule, your plan is a fantasy.
And here's what that looks like inside P6. That single deceptive commissioning bar is gone. It's been replaced by a proper, detailed work breakdown structure. Each of those 5 stages we just talked about is now its own group of activities. Right away, this adds a dose of realism and accountability that was totally missing before.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? A simple-looking schedule for something as complex as commissioning, that isn't a sign of efficiency. Nope, it's a sign that someone is avoiding the tough questions. Our job, as people who validate these things, is to demand a schedule that embraces that complexity, because that's where all the real risks are hiding.
Now we're talking. This is the proof. This is the evidence we're looking for. Right here in the P6 Relationships tab, permanent power energization is now correctly linked as a finish-to-start predecessor to HVAC system testing. It's simple, right? You can't test the air conditioning if there's no power. It sounds so obvious, but you would be absolutely shocked how often this fundamental logic is just completely missing from project schedule. Okay, let's just settle this milestone versus activity debate once and for all, especially for things like inspections. A milestone, like inspection complete, tells you nothing. It hides all the risk of how long that inspection might actually take. An activity, on the other hand, like authority final inspection with a 5-day duration, forces you to account for that time. So if the inspector shows up and takes 10 days, guess what? You now have a measurable 5-day delay. This is how you model reality. All right, this brings us to the big reveal, the aha moment. Now that we've ripped out that cosmetic finish and replaced it with an evidence-based plan, the schedule's true story is about to come out. We are about to find the real driver of this project's completion date.
So let's rewind. Remember our original crime scene? Here it is again. The red critical path is conveniently weaving its way around the entire commissioning phase. All that green you see is float, and it gave the project team a dangerously false sense of comfort. They thought they had weeks to spare. And now, the after. With all the correct, detailed logic plugged in, Look what happened. The critical path has completely shifted. It now runs like a freight train straight through our detailed pre-commissioning, system testing, and inspection activities. This is the truth. The MEP commissioning sequence is the critical path to finishing this project.
And the proof is right there in the data. You can't argue with it. Look at the total float column for these commissioning activities. 0 hours. Every single one of them. This confirms it. Any slip, any delay on one of these activities will directly delay the entire project. We've officially rejected the false float and exposed the true critical path.
So what's the ultimate payoff for all this detective work? It's having a schedule that serves as irrefutable evidence. Because when delays happen, and you know they will, you now have a tool that explains exactly why, when, and what the real impact is without any of the drama or opinions.
And this is how you present that evidence. Using the baseline comparison in P6, the story just tells itself. It's crystal clear. The blue bar shows our plan. Authority inspection was supposed to take 5 days. The red bar shows what really happened. It took 10. You don't need to write a 10-page report. This one visual tells the entire story of a 5-day delay and how it impacted the finish date.
I want you to remember this. Your baseline is your plan. The update is the story of what actually happened. And the variance between the two, that's your evidence. This is how you get past arguments and opinions and start analyzing project delays with indisputable facts.
So we're going to end with this question for you to take back to your own projects. When you look at that final 5% of your P6 schedule, are you looking at a detailed, evidence-based plan for how you will actually finish the job, or are you looking at a single bar packed with float that just shows how you hope to? Because the answer to that question makes all the difference in the world.